everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina, and today we're going to be working on prepping our embossing mat for our Cri-Kits embosser. This is the embosser, and it comes in this little package here, and let me just open it up and show you what it looks like. I have done videos on these before, but just to show you, this is the Cri-Kits. It's a double end, so one is a finer embossing end, and the other one is a little bit of a thicker one, and it works with the Cri-Kits holder, which is magnetic, and it just pops in there and it holds it in place. Okay, so let me just show you first how to prepare your cutting or embossing mat onto your Cri-Kit mat. So the first thing you're going to do is you want to use a mat that's, you know, pretty well used, because you're going to want to keep this as your permanent embossing mat. So let's go ahead and take this out, and I'll show you how to put this onto your mat. So we're going to go ahead and start preparing our embossing mat to go onto our Cri-Kit mat, and you want to start by using a Cri-Kit mat that's kind of lost its stickiness and you're kind of done with it. And what you're going to do is peel the backing off of your mat. You don't want to take the whole backing off. You want to just peel it off a little bit so that you can start up in the corner, and just to make sure this gets adhered on here flat and no bubbles, you're just going to press that on, and then you can go to the back and start peeling it off a little bit at a time and adhering it down. This way you don't get any creases in your embossing pad. So I'm going to leave this mat, I'm going to leave this right onto my mat, and this will be my permanent embossing. Okay, and just a little bit more, and there we go. So there we go, we have it all on here. So one thing that the instructions say is not to peel all of the white strips off, because underneath the white strips there's adhesive. So what you want to do, and Cri-Kits does have two different types of mats. They have this one, which is got the adhesive on it, and then they have another one that's plain and doesn't have the adhesive, and what you would do is just glue your piece of vellum or your metal down onto your mat. Or not glue, but tape it down. So what I thought I would do is, because I'm only going to work in sections, is I thought I would just take a 6x6 piece of cardstock, line it up on here. I'm going to take a pencil and mark off a 6x6 area. Okay, so I went ahead and marked off my 6x6 area, and what I'm doing now is just pulling the white sections off, because underneath those white sections are the adhesive that will hold down your vellum or your metal or whatever you're embossing. So this is my last full one, because now what I'm going to do is start cutting a 6x6 square. Because like I said, normally when I work on my mat, I'm normally making cards and stuff like that. So I'm just going to stick that piece right back on there. Peel this down and cut off at the angle here. And this is recommended by the by Cri-Kits. This is what they suggest to do on your instructions. And what this does is just protects the sticky strip from getting lint or paper pieces or anything like that stuck on it, or in my case, cat hair, because we have a kitty cat. So this will now be the area that I'm going to be, when I work, that I'm going to be working in. And when I hang this back up, I'm going to put the protective sheet that comes with my actual Cri-Kit mat over the top of this to protect it also. So let me just go ahead and show you the different types of metals that you can purchase from Cri-Kits. So I'll be right back. Also available at the Cri-Kits store is embossing metal that works great with your embossing kit. There's a solid set as well as a coated set. They come 9x9 9x12 or 9x60, which is the roll, and they're about 3 milliliters in thickness. The solid colors come in a brass, copper, aluminum, gold, as well as a matte black, which I don't have. And then we also have the red, violet, green, teal, and blue, which is the coated metal, which is great for sanding your embossed areas. So let's go head over to our Cricut, and I'll show you some of the settings and stuff you need to know on your Cricut machine when you're working with the metals. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started by loading our Cri-Kits Embosser into our machine. So this is the embossing tool, and it loads right into the Cri-Kits pen holder, which is what you use your gel pens with. And like I said, it does have a double end. It has a thicker and a smaller end, and it is magnetic. So we're just going to go ahead and take out my my Cricut blade so I can put in my Cri-Kits Embosser. And I'm going to go ahead with the finer point, and that just gets loaded right into here. And then the settings for this, when you're using the metal, is speed. Let me just double check the settings for that. The pressure is 4 and the speed is 3, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Gypsy to use mine. And what I'm going to do is, I already have my metal cut, and it's a 4x6 piece of metal, and you can see that the sticky section is exposed on my embossing mat, and it holds my metal right into place. So I'm just going to make sure that's adhered down nice and good. I'm going to load my mat, and I'm going to go ahead and set my speed at 3 and my pressure at 4. So I already have my pressure set at 4. I'll set my speed at 3, and I'm just going to go ahead, and since I'm using my Gypsy, you can see I'm using my Gypsy, I'm just going to go ahead and cut my image. Or emboss my image, really. So there is my piece that I embossed. And to get it so the raised section is on the blue side, if you wanted to sand, you put it down upside down. So your aluminum side or your silver side is facing up. You're going to put that right into your machine. I'm going to hit load. And I'm going to go ahead and emboss that. And then I could show you what it looks like when you sand it. Okay, so this is the one we just did. This is the first one we did that has the image debossed into the metal. And this one is the one where I flipped it upside down and it embossed it so that it was a raised image. Now what you could do with this is take your sanding block, and I'm just going to use a Tim Holtz, but you probably want to use something a little softer than this one because it does scratch quite a bit, but I just don't have anything handy. Okay, so there we go. That's with it sanded out. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut around my image. And I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out my metal. And what I did with one of them was I cut out on some felt so I can make my own embellishment. So there's going to be lots of great things you could do with the metal in the Cri-Kits Embosser. So thanks for watching another episode of Creations with Christina. See you next time. Bye.